Sword of Coming Episode 8. In the previous episode, Chen Ping'an found himself facing an unexpected situation when a young Daoist priest appeared at his doorstep, pushing a cart that held a severely injured young woman from out of town. Despite the alarming sight of her blood-stained clothes, Chen Ping'an did not hesitate to help, moving the heavy cart into his small yard and preparing to care for her. The Daoist priest explained her injuries came from a dangerous fall while attempting a scholarly task. And though his words were fast and confusing, Chen Ping'an decided to step in. Together, they worked to tend to her wounds, gather medicinal ingredients, and navigate the delicate task of helping a stranger while keeping her presence a secret. At the end of the previous episode, Chen Ping'an emerged onto Clay Vase Alley, his cheerful facade crumbling as tears streamed down his face, hinting at the depth of his resolve and the weight of the moment. What will happen next? Stay tuned. And the story continues. As Chen Ping'an was making his way down Clay Vase Alley, he just so happened to run into Song Jixin's maidservant, Ji Gui. She had not immediately returned to Song Jixin's residence after delivering Kai Jinjinan to Ji Yu Kan's home. Instead, she had wandered through the shops on Apricot Blossom Alley, her steps light and her mood cheerful, skipping almost like a carefree child despite buying nothing at all. Ji Gui had grown up in this small rural town and carried a simple, grounded demeanor that set her apart from the daughters of wealthy and influential families. Upon seeing Chen Ping'an, she did something unusual. She did not avert her gaze or hurry past him. As was her usual habit, she stopped, staring at him, her expression caught between hesitation and the desire to speak. Chen Ping'an, noticing her pause, offered a friendly smile before jogging past her, then speeding up to continue his path. Ji Gui lingered at the entrance to Clay Vase Alley, watching him move under the sunlight. To her, he resembled a resilient stray cat, navigating the world with only the smallest scraps of fortune, surviving where luck seldom smiled upon him. Unlike Ji Gui, who had few friends due to her reserved nature and her association with Song Jixin, Chen Ping'an's quietness did not repel people. In fact, he had a naturally approachable and kind aura, the kind that felt smooth and non-threatening. His distance from neighbors was more a product of circumstance than temperament. His parents had died when he was very young, and superstition surrounding his birth date, on the ominous 5th day of the 5th month, made locals wary. Elders often encouraged children to avoid him without being able to explain why, weaving a quiet but persistent stigma around him. At that moment, a tall figure appeared from the alley, stopping beside Ji Gui. She did not acknowledge him, maintaining her silence. The man was the town's schoolteacher, Qi Jingchun. He began walking alongside her, a faint smile on his face. Ji Gui met him with cold eyes, her voice steady and firm. She reminded him that previously, he had always held the upper hand, controlling this domain while she suffered quietly. Now, circumstances had shifted, and it was she who had the advantage. Qi Jingchun responded with calm authority, acknowledging her rise but warning her that the rules established by the sages thousands of years ago still held sway. He reminded her that the laws of the world were enforced, not optional, and likened her to a frog at the bottom of a well, unable to grasp the vastness beyond her limited view. Ji Gui remained defiant, rejecting his attempt to intimidate her. She demanded clarity. Whether he sought conflict or peaceful resolution, she could accept either. Qi Jingchun advised her to curb her desires, warning that recklessness would bring disaster to everyone around her, and emphasized that cultivating alongside someone, regardless of whether they became Dao partners, required restraint. The conversation turned tense as Qi Jingchun's presence became overwhelming. With a step, he drew Ji Gui into a place of suffocating darkness. As if they were at the bottom of a well, rays of mystical golden light descended from above, illuminating him as he appeared in an azure robe, light circling around him in constant motion. Ji Gui, initially defiant, recounted the relentless years she had endured, 60 years of Buddhist chants, Dao talismans, righteous radiance, and sword qi, repeating in cycles for 3,000 years without respite. Her voice reflected her frustration and her desire to uncover the foundation of the great Dao that Qi Jingchun represented. Despite the oppressive presence of the teacher, She displayed no fear, instead meeting him with a mixture of curiosity and cautious scrutiny. Shi Jingchun addressed her anger and resentment directly, noting that excessive kindness was never the true path of the three teachings. Ji Gui mocked his admonition, pointing out the hypocrisy of sages who had historically exploited their power without apology, and questioned why he now appeared as a benevolent figure. In response, Shi Jingchun unleashed his authority. A massive golden hand descended from above, forcing Ji Gui to her knees. She struggled, laughing defiantly, refusing to admit wrongdoing. The hand lifted and slammed her down again, each blow a demonstration of his control. He reminded her that her life was a gift granted by the sages, not an inherent right, and that her freedom in the world was limited by the rules established by higher powers. A giant white jade seal appeared, engraved with ancient characters, crackling with purple lightning. With a command, Shi Jingchun brought it down upon her. Though the seal passed through her, the impact left her collapsed on the ground as if every bone in her body were shattered. She clawed at the earth in defiance, and Shi Jingchun declared that her kowtowing honored the world, all living beings, and the great Tao. The intense weight of his presence gradually faded, leaving Ji Gui to recover. She rose shakily, offering a wry acknowledgement of his teachings. Shi Jingchun departed without another word, leaving her to contemplate the fragile state of the town, weakened by the collapse of his Tao foundation. She had to plan carefully for what came next, leaving no time to focus on Chen Ping'an. As she passed his home on the way back to Song Jixin's courtyard, she reacted with irritation to a small four-legged snake scurrying past her feet, kicking it aside in anger. Inside Chen Ping'an's house, a young Daoist priest named Lu Chen sat meditating at the table. The young woman who had nearly died earlier was now seated on the bed, her legs crossed, revealing strong and distinctive features beneath her veil. Though not conventionally beautiful, she carried an aura of resilience and grace. The priest addressed her carefully, explaining that he had saved her, but Chen Ping'an had been responsible for the majority of her care, including bringing her into the house and tending to her immediate needs. Lu Chen admitted his limited involvement, emphasizing that Chen Ping'an, an orphan and former apprentice at a dragon kiln, had acted with remarkable care. The young woman expressed her gratitude calmly, easing the priest's guilt. She inquired if he, like herself, was not from the Eastern treasured Vile continent, prompting a shared acknowledgement of their outsider status. Introducing himself as Daoist Lu, he reassured her that Chen Ping'an's actions, though perhaps unconventional, were driven by necessity and urgency. She smiled, understandingly, and then spoke of her purpose. She sought Master Ruan, the continent's foremost swordsmith, hoping he would forge a sword for her. Lu Chen cautioned that persuading such a master would not be easy, and she acknowledged the challenge, showing both determination and concern. At that moment, Chen Ping'an returned home, carrying medicinal herbs in a small pouch. He placed the ingredients on the table and invited her to inspect them, ready to correct any mistakes immediately. He noticed her sitting up on the bed, fully recovered, and greeted her warmly. She introduced herself as Ning Yao, combining her father's and mother's surnames. Chen Ping'an responded with a small, slightly awkward reflection on his own name, but quickly replaced it with a friendly smile as he concluded, "My name is Chen Ping'an." Ning Yao displayed no reaction to this, but Lu Chen could not help but burst into laughter. He quickly realized, however, that the atmosphere in the room had shifted, and he hurriedly changed the subject. The leaves of the tamarisk tree were picked at the wrong time, missing the ideal window of harvest by 7 days. Also, this bag of dragon sour weed has been ground far too coarsely. Look at this, it should be a fine powder. Yet here it is, practically in chunks. And these papercrease flowers, the Yang family's medicine shop did a terrible job here. I asked for 150 grams. Yet it is clear there is not enough. Their shopkeeper's conscience seems to have been devoured by dogs. He shook his head, but then, almost reluctantly, he continued, having said that, these ingredients will suffice. Nevertheless, Ning Yao's recovery is primarily due to her extraordinary physical constitution. The contribution of the Yang family's medicine shop to her recovery is practically negligible. Lu Chen laid out a sheet of paper before him and picked up his brush. Preparing to write, "I will now provide the method for brewing the medicine," he said carefully, his tone taking on a solemnity that made the moment feel weighty. "This task requires utmost attention and care. This medicine is designed not only to aid recovery but to strengthen Ning Yao's physical constitution. Once the process is complete, she will not only recover fully, but she will emerge in even greater health and vitality than before. It is gentle, nurturing, and leaves no undesirable side effects. Its slower-acting nature requires a greater quantity of ingredients over the course of the next 10 days. But that is a matter of money, nothing else." Lu Chen's brush moved with precision and care as he wrote down the entire brewing process. Each stage of the method was detailed, specifying when the medicine should be brought to a boil over a high flame, when it should simmer over a low flame, and exactly when it should be consumed. The instructions took up 2 full sheets of paper. While the list of ingredients occupied only half a sheet, the script was a compact, neat script, orderly and precise, meant to be easy for a student of the Tao to follow. Chen Ping'an was taken aback. "Are you not going to oversee her recovery yourself? This is a matter of life and death. Would it not be wiser for you to guide the process personally?" "I am about to leave town soon," Lu Chen replied, a hint of resignation in his voice. "There is a sect following my branch of Taoism in the southern Stream Nation, and a ceremony will be held there that I wish to witness. But how am I supposed to follow this method? I am illiterate," Chen Ping'an exclaimed, panic rising in his voice. Lu Chen paused, considering this for a moment, before a smile spread across his face. "It is all right. Ning Yao knows how to read. If you have questions, you may consult her." Ning Yao nodded, confirming that she would assist in the process. Chen Ping'an was about to protest further when Lu Chen reached into his sleeve and withdrew a small azure jade seal. He blew lightly upon its surface, then pressed it firmly onto the sheet containing the ingredient list. Satisfied with his work, he returned the seal to his sleeve and handed all 3 sheets to Chen Ping'an. "Keep these safe. Most books in town are private collections, and obtaining replacements will not be easy. If you wish to learn to read, you may start with what I have written." Turning to Ning Yao, Lu Chen offered a gentle smile. "The world is vast, but it can also be small. I am certain our paths will cross again. But for now, this is farewell." Ning Yao's expression was serious as she spoke. "Words cannot express my gratitude for what you have done. Daoist Lu, should you require my assistance in the future, send a message attached to a flying sword to Stalactite Mountain. Ensure that you sign off as Lu Chen, or the flying sword may be denied entry." Lu Chen was briefly startled, realizing that Ning Yao hailed from Stalactite Mountain, but she merely shook her head slightly, signaling that he should not ask further questions. Some matters were better left unknown to Chen Ping'an. Before departing, he gestured for Chen Ping'an to accompany him. "Come with me. I have parting words for you." Chen Ping'an set down the pouch containing the new clothes he had purchased for Ning Yao and followed Lu Chen into the courtyard. In a low voice, Lu Chen began, "Given your exceptional memory, I am confident you can already recognize all the characters on the ingredient list. Moreover, you live next to a renowned bookworm, so your illiteracy is not the true reason for asking me to remain. You already know the reason." Chen Ping'an nodded silently. "The truth is," Lu Chen continued, "you fear for Ning Yao's well-being should you not be here. You have taken responsibility for her, and you intend to see it through to the end, correct?" "I took her in," Chen Ping'an replied quietly, "and I will see my duty through." Lu Chen, standing beside his cart, gently stroked the white scabbard of Ning Yao's flying sword, which then silently returned to her possession. He tapped his lotus flower hat, organizing his thoughts before speaking again. "Before arriving here, my senior disciple brother reminded me of the importance of reason and consideration for others. Hence, I am inclined to bestow a gift upon you before departing. I cannot give you the bamboo tube or the 108 sticks, as they would create chaos. My private seal is too significant a gift, and removing the town's formation would expose the town entirely, doing you a disservice. Money is an option, but it feels vulgar." Yet, he glanced at Chen Ping'an, who quickly interjected, "It is not vulgar. I would gladly accept it. Lu Chen smiled, amused. You have already witnessed many strange occurrences today. A bowl that seems to hold infinite water, paper talismans for blessings, Ning Yao's injuries, and gold coins disguised as copper. It is no wonder you accept gifts differently than most. The Daoist then spoke seriously. The gesture Ning Yao performed on you, forcing open your acupoint, is known as pointing the way in martial arts. It can be done with positive or negative intent. The gate to your yard is a weak analogy for your body, without proper defense. The slightest misstep can leave you vulnerable. Chen Ping'an nodded, unflinching. It is fine. I am used to enduring hardships. Lu Chen sighed, frustrated by his student's calmness, and continued. That palm strike destroyed your vitality and robbed you of any chance at the path to immortality. Your fortune could have allowed you to capture great rewards. Yet even without them, diligence may help you attain modest gains. Think of this as your lesson in preparation and perseverance. Chen Ping'an remained calm, even as the severity of Lu Chen's words sank in. Finally, Lu Chen's tone softened, though it retained a sharp edge. I owe you a favor for saving Ning Yao. I intended to delay repayment, but now I will repay fully. Remember these 3 things. First, once Ning Yao has recovered, take her to the creek south of town to meet a father and daughter with the surname Ruan. Convince them to accept you as an apprentice or laborer. Second, after the 5th day of the 5th month, visit the creek frequently, especially when feeling unsettled. Your diligence may yield small rewards despite your poor fortune. Third, he paused, gesturing to Chen Ping'an. The third is for you to consider yourself. The copper coins are precious. Keep them safe. Avoid unnecessary outings. Smile more. Good fortune is attracted by cheer, not gloom. With that, Lu Chen began wheeling his cart away. Chen Ping'an stood in place, still processing everything, before rising to help push the cart. Along the way, Lu Chen spoke once more. Your parents' early passing was no fault of yours. In fact, their actions contributed to the hardships you have endured. Remember this, but do not dwell on it. Chen Ping'an offered no reply, yet he watched as Lu Chen pushed the cart toward the eastern town gate. Along the way, Lu Chen turned back to find that Chen Ping'an was still standing at the entrance to the alley, waving vigorously at him with a bright smile, looking completely unlike someone with not long left to live. In this episode, we saw Chen Ping'an taking on the responsibility of caring for Ning Yao. Following the guidance and detailed instructions left by Daoist Lu, he learned how critical it was to prepare and administer the medicine correctly, while also being guided on how to navigate his own fate and future. We witnessed the profound impact of Ning Yao's recovery, the valuable lessons Chen Ping'an received about diligence, perseverance, and filial respect, and how he was entrusted with important tasks that could shape his destiny. Along the way, the bond between Chen Ping'an and Ning Yao deepened, highlighting themes of trust, responsibility, and courage in the face of uncertainty. What happens next? Stay tuned for the next episode of Sword of Coming. If you enjoyed this episode or found it intriguing, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive notifications about the latest episodes in Chen Ping'an's journey. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.